For the first time in a very long time, Tom Brady is on the open market. The first time maybe in his entire NFL career. And of course, this means that the media has to cover it every second of every day and absolutely spread thin every single interview, every single quote from Rob Kraft or Tom Brady or Bill Belichick, every single source that they could potentially have, whether it's a legitimate source or a source that's the pizza man across the street. They are absolutely looking at every angle to potentially look at every single little detail that could mean that the Patriots dynasty could be over. You know, the Patriots could be going into a new era with a new quarterback, and it's coming from all angles. It's coming from all the big outlets. It's coming from your next door neighbor. It's coming from your grandma. It's coming from everywhere, every angle, every outlet, ESPN, Fox. It doesn't really matter who you're watching on TV, on YouTube, or anywhere else. They're going to be discussing Tom Brady. So, to kick off this free agency, I wanted to make a video about Tom Brady. I didn't want to make a video about Tom Brady. Quite honestly, as a Patriots fan, I really don't want to sit here contemplating, speculating what Tom Brady's going to do this offseason, what's going to happen with the Patriots this offseason, what the future of the Patriots is. Honestly, I get enough of that. I get enough news on Twitter. I get enough tweets. I get enough of it, okay? I'm honestly sick of it. Like, I don't want to see it anymore. But it's gotten to the point with the media right now, the NFL media, whether that's, again, NFL Network, the pizza man down the street, your next door neighbor, where it's just a little too much. And the media, they're going with every possible hot take. Like, this is absolute hot take city because really, the Patriots are an analyst's dream because they don't say anything. They don't give you any information. So basically, you can say whatever you want, and nobody's going to retract the information. Nobody's going to call you out because the Patriots really don't care. Bill Belichick's not going to be looking at, clicking the channels and being like, oh, what did this guy say about me today? Or yesterday, or the week before. He's not going to be watching First Take. He's not going to be watching Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. He's not going to be doing any of that. So really, Bill Belichick, Rob Kraft, Tom Brady, they don't care. They're not going to give you any information. And when they have an interview, they're going to give you the least amount of information as possible. So really, nobody knows what's going on. This is why it's driving me absolutely bonkers, absolutely out of my mind, out of my skull. And this is why I need to address this situation. Because the media has gone so far where it's just the absolute weirdest, craziest, ludicrous scenarios that you could think of. And they're getting away with it scot-free with nobody really judging them, nobody really saying, wait a minute, where'd you get this from? What's the source? How is this possible? Nobody's calling them out. So I'm sitting here and I'm saying, I'm going to call you out, but also we're going to look at the legitimacy of this. We're going to take a look at if this could actually possibly happen. And do I think Tom Brady 100% is going to be back with New England? No. But I think it's pretty high. I think it's a lot higher than people in the media are making you think it is. I think that the number one destination for both Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Rob Kraft, all three of them, I think they all want to have Tom Brady as a Patriot. But some things don't always line up the way you would like it to. I do think that when it comes to Tom Brady right now, I think there's a legitimate argument that he is no longer in the elite conversation as a quarterback. I personally don't think he is. I think he's somewhere between the 10th and 12th, maybe 15th best quarterback in the game. I think you could argue maybe with better weapons around him, he could possibly go back in the top 10 next year. But it's not like Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the league, and I don't think he's in the top 5 anymore, and I don't think he ever will be again. So there's actually a legitimate talk, and that is why the media's taken it this far to the point of ridiculous statements, because they can sit there and say, well, it's a possibility because maybe Belichick doesn't believe he's really the best option for the team. Because you could never really say that before when he was the best dang quarterback in the league. So with Tom Brady, he is the biggest name in free agency. He's the biggest name in the game of football, but he's the biggest name in free agency. He's the biggest name to drop, the biggest domino that's going to basically impact the quarterback market, going to impact free agency, and not only going to impact free agency, the quarterback market for this year, but also next year, the year after that. It's actually going to have an effect on the NFL and how these teams place their quarterback, where these quarterbacks go. It's one of those moves that if Brady leaves New England and goes somewhere, it's going to impact that situation. If Brady stays in New England, it's going to impact a team that potentially was looking at, Tom Brady, or maybe it's going to delay the Patriots going forward into their rebuild. So it has a major impact on the NFL and the NFL landscape. This is my opinion outright before we get into the opinion of the media and why I'm going absolutely crazy right now. Okay, Tom Brady, to me, is not leaving. Okay, Tom Brady is New England. New England is Tom Brady. The Patriots are Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the Patriots. End of story. Okay, Rob Kraft loves Tom Brady. Bill Belichick loves Tom Brady, even though the media would make you think that he doesn't love Tom Brady. Who are they going to replace Tom Brady with that is better than Tom Brady, that is on the open market, that would be better for the Patriots right now? Okay, who is out there? Is the MVP Lamar Jackson on the open market? Is Deshaun Watson on the open market? Is Patrick Mahomes on the open market? You get my point. None of these guys are on the open market. And sure, if they were, maybe the Patriots go crazy and try and sign or trade for one of these guys. That has credence, I guess. They're not on the open market. Who are the Patriots going to go out there and sign and trade for? Phillip Rivers? He's not even close to Tom Brady right now. The guy fell off the face of the earth at last season. He was brutal. If you watched him for any portion of time, you could see that he really has lost a lot of his arm strength, the ability to push the ball down the field, and that's really what Rivers was great at during the prime of his career. Sure, he could still think the game, he could still move your team down the field. I don't think Rivers is horrible, but he's not the right guy for a team like the Patriots, who are still looking to be a contender this season. And this is the thing I want to say. The right guy is not Andy Dalton. The right guy is not one of these quarterbacks that's maybe had their day already, had their opportunity to win somewhere, and now is looking to go somewhere else to rebuild their career. The option is not one of these guys. The only option if Tom Brady leaves is to rebuild and start over. That's the only option. But when you really think about it, is that an option for a coach like Bill Belichick? Is that an option for a coach like Bill Belichick, who probably only has, 5 more seasons left in the NFL, maybe less than that? Does Bill Belichick want an inferior quarterback to end his career? If Tom Brady ends up leaving, do you think that Bill Belichick is going to trust his franchise for the next season or two in the hands of Phillip Rivers, a guy that's deteriorating? Do you think he's going to even trust a guy like Cam Newton, who's talented but has been injured and injury prone? What happens if one of those guys comes in and they disappoint, or they get injured, or they just are not right for the system? Because when you really look at it, yes, Josh McDaniels is a fantastic mind, but they've had this type of quarterback for so long, and they've had this quarterback that understands the system better than any system in the NFL or any quarterback system combination in the history of the game. Tom Brady has played within this system for so long that he is basically Bill Belichick on the field. Do you think Bill Belichick doesn't want that relationship anymore? Do you think that Bill Belichick's sick of that relationship? I think if he was, it would have ended a long time ago, and I think we would have seen Tom Brady have been traded a long time ago. And then we look at, obviously, his relationship with Rob Kraft, which doesn't have to be said. I mean, the guy is basically a son to the owner of the Patriots. So I don't think that really has to be said. But the thing and the logic behind the Belichick and the Brady relationship is absolutely asinine to me, and I never understood it, and I never will understand it. Jimmy Garoppolo left and was traded from the Patriots because Tom Brady at that moment in time gave the Patriots the best opportunity to win Super Bowls. And that's what you're in the NFL to do. You're not in the NFL to rebuild a roster, as cool as it sounds or as amazing as it sounds in the minds of fans. Oh, it's so promising to have a young rebuilding roster. You're in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. Okay, period, end of story. And that's with Tom Brady. That's with Bill Belichick. And if the Patriots want to contend this year, next year, they need Tom Brady, period. Unless they're going to get Patrick Mahomes or one of these guys in the top 10 of the position, which I just don't think are going to happen. And this is where we entered the discussion of the media. Let's start off with the man himself, Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon Sharpe, he always has a fair share of hot takes. So let's start off with Shannon Sharpe.
I don't, because I think the damage has been done.
Damage has been done.
Jimmy G might have been the final straw.
Yep.
That broke the camel's back, because he's like, after all I've done, you still, all the pay cuts, all the giving you leeway to come and go, and I never say anything about the talent level that you have around me. I'm just a good soldier. Mm-hmm. And you want to replace me. Skip, I think Brady's mind is made up. Because at the end of the day, he goes back. We're still in the same place. Who gets the credit? This sounds like Mr. Kraft doing. Again, pulling another power play, which I believe Coach Belichick will not be too happy about. But I don't see it, Skip. I think the damage has been done. And I do believe Tom Brady is playing elsewhere next week.
So, Shannon Sharpe thinks that when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and Rob Kraft win Super Bowls, that somebody needs to claim the credit for those Super Bowls. I don't think they care, bro. You played on Super Bowl winning teams. Did you have to say and stand on the table and say, I was a bigger reason why we won the Super Bowl than John Elway? I was a bigger reason why we won the Super Bowl than Ray Lewis? Did you need to do that? I don't think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick care very much. I think they're in it together. They've always been in it together, and I think they're happy winning together. I don't get it. Okay, second, Jimmy Garoppolo being the last straw. Why was Jimmy Garoppolo the last straw when he traded Jimmy Garoppolo? Tom Brady's still on the team. They went on to win multiple Super Bowls. I think everybody's over that situation. Okay? I think everybody's over that situation. Shannon, I don't. This is just okay. Next person. Let's get to Skip. All right, Skippy, baby. Let's do it.
This is what I would do. They almost certainly won't do this, but this is what I would do.
You get Brady.
Hot take.
I would cut him, and I would sign Tom Brady for 2 more years, because Tom Brady would live and love to go home. He would live for it, because he started as a 49er fan in San Mateo, California.
So Tom Brady is going to go to San Francisco, and Skip suggests that the 49ers cut Jimmy Garoppolo. If you want to say Jimmy played bad in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, they're right to that opinion. Sure. Why? Okay, from both perspectives, why would the 49ers just went 13-3? They went to the Super Bowl. They were a handful of plays away, a tip pass here, a tip pass there, from winning the Super Bowl. A stop on defense here, a stop on defense there. Are we talking about Jimmy Garoppolo being cut if the first or second best defense, whatever you want to call them, 49ers stop Patrick Mahomes once in the fourth quarter? Are we talking about that? Tom Brady going to San Francisco makes sense if you're Tom Brady, but it doesn't make sense if you're Kyle Shanahan, because Tom Brady does not fit Kyle Shanahan's offense. If you know anything about football and offensive schemes, offensive football, he does not fit that scheme. He does not fit the rollout. They would have to change their offense and the core of foundation of what that offense is. They need a guy with mobility. They need a guy to get outside the pocket, on the move, and all that sort of stuff. Yes, you could vary it a little bit and change it a little bit so that it would operate, but really, there's been no quarterback that's a pocket quarterback within this system ever going back to the days of, his father, Mike Shanahan. So these hot takes are crazy. Now you're just starting conversations with other teams so that they have to cut their quarterback, trade their quarterback, whatever it may be. This is hot take city. Let's go to one guy, TJ Who's Your Mama, TJ Hushbanzada, who was a good player in the NFL for the Bengals. Let's go to him, see what he thinks, okay?
Bucky's wrong. He's been saying this all year. And next year, we're really going to find out because Brady won't be there. So we'll find out.
But he won't be there?
No, 0% chance.
0%
Zero.
chance.
0%.
Chance.
Zero.
I would go 1%. I would
0%.
door closed.
Door closed.
Okay, so 0% chance, he says. Very interesting. So Tom Brady has 0% chance of going back to the team he won 6 Super Bowls with. Think about that for a second. 0. He doesn't want to go there at all. 0. Bill Belichick doesn't want a quarterback he's won 6 Super Bowls with. 0% chance. 0. Absolutely none. Not 1%. Not 2%. 0. Might as well make it negative %. All right, next person. Who do we have next? Let's go with everybody's favorite guy, Mr. Kellerman. Mr. Kellerman, Mr. Cliff. Let's do it.
Stafford with Belichick? Like, I would love to see that. Meantime, the New England Patriots and the Detroit Lions have done deals before.
Matt Stafford in New England? Wow. That would be fun, wouldn't it? What? Wait, what is this? Why? Okay, again. 1. Why would the Lions trade Matt Stafford? He literally played, and he says this before he gets into this analysis, that Matt Stafford was a top 5 quarterback this year, in the words of Max Kellerman, not me, him. Okay, he said that. He said MVP level. And if you want to check out the whole clip, just search it up on YouTube, Matt Stafford, Kellerman, okay? He'll tell you, all right? Why, if you claim that Tom Brady is a top 15 quarterback right now, why would you say that they would get rid of Stafford, trade Stafford to the Patriots if he's a top 5 guy, and let's say go after somebody else? You're just going to find a top 5 quarterback somewhere else? Because it's not going to be Tom Brady, in your opinion, because he's not as good as Stafford is. So, I don't get it. Why would they trade Stafford? Literally, Matt Patricia, the reason he went to Detroit was Matt Stafford. He's not trading Matt Stafford after what was 8 games. He was a top 5 quarterback. I agree with you. Now, I'd personally put him in the top 10 somewhere, being hurt going into next season, a little bit of question marks there. But Stafford's a great quarterback, and he's still only 31. I don't understand why you would trade him at this point. He's not the issue with the Lions, okay? Defending Stafford. Second, when it comes to the Patriots, why would they take on Matt Stafford and not just sign Brady for 2 more years? I mean, really, what is the massive difference in the style of play of Matt Stafford and Tom Brady? I feel like Tom Brady is still a better fit to the offense than Matt Stafford is because they have different skill sets, different skills, different talents. And it's going to be a bigger contract with Stafford than with Brady. So I don't really understand that take at all, especially if you're coming at it from a point of the Lions' perspective. I don't get the Lions part at the most. Okay, final take, which there's many out there. You could check out many takes, but I just want to give you a few. Okay, it's Colin Cowherd. By the way, I like most of these people. I'm fans of most of these people, but they deserve to be called out. And Colin Cowherd's one of them. I like Colin Cowherd a lot. I listen to a lot of his stuff. I watch a lot of his stuff. But you got to call him out when he deserves to be called out. So let's go to that.
Brady's knock is New England. I want a little more money. Get me weapons. New England doesn't have a history of acquiring weapons. Jerry, for all his faults, Dallas always has weapons. Brady's a free agent. He wants 2 years at 30. Dallas, no state tax, and tons of weapons. If Dak is asking for 37, this is not nuts. And Jerry is the best marketer in this league.
So, Colin Cowherd, if you missed that or went over your head, he wants the Dallas Cowboys the Dallas Cowboys to go out and sign Tom Brady. That's crazy to me. Dak Prescott's young. He's going to be entering his prime. He's not even there yet. He's already made the playoffs a couple of times. He had his best season ever, and the Cowboys are not going to sign Dak Prescott. I understand he's going to be making a lot of money and probably too much for his value, but it's still going to be worth it down the road to sign Dak Prescott, especially a guy like Prescott, who is not only a good quarterback, but also a good leader, has good intangibles, and you know he's not going to screw it up. Second thing, even if Tom Brady were to be, let's say, a better option for the Cowboys this year, and maybe they could win a Super Bowl this year with Tom Brady, from a perspective of, like, is he going to be able to get paid? Like, the Cowboys, they're going to pay $38 million to Dak, and they're going to pay $30 million to Brady. Wouldn't you rather have the guy that's going to play like 5 more? I'm not even going to say 5 more years. Let's say he signed a 5-year contract, but let's say Dak plays another almost 10 years, 8 to 10 years in his career, maybe even more than that. You're going to rather sign Tom Brady. If you believe he wants the money, you believe he wants $30 million, and that's why he's leaving New England, that's why New England's not going to sign him, which is what he does believe. You would think that the Cowboys would just sign Dak, right? Because Brady's too much money. So I don't get that at all. Second thing he said there, and let's go back to it. Let's go back to it real quick, actually. Let's go back to it.
Brady's knock is New England. I want a little more money. Get me weapons. New England doesn't have a history of acquiring weapons.
Right there. The Patriots don't have a history of acquiring weapons. Every single time the Patriots have been short of weapons, the following year they load up on weapons. Go back in their history and look at their history of adding people, okay? The first notable time was 2007, following 2006, where they had a group of non-weapons. But that was mostly due to contract situations, like they traded Deion Branch for a first-round pick, for example, to Seattle the year before in that offseason, so they were really left without no weapons. But then the year following, they were able to acquire Randy Moss, get Wes Welker, which they traded a second for Wes Welker. That wasn't just like a fourth like Randy. And they went out, they signed Dante Stallworth that year, okay? After that, they had those guys for a couple of years, so they didn't really need to go out and acquire anyone. 2010, they go out and they draft Rob Gronkowski in the second round. They draft Aaron Hernandez. You know, they go out and get Brandon Lloyd a couple years later to help out the offense. They've signed players, at least pretty decent players, a lot. They went out and they traded for Brandon Cooks for a first-round pick. They signed Danny Amendola to pretty good money. I mean, there has been times where Belichick has kind of let down Brady in the department of weapons, but it's because he wanted to improve his team elsewhere. And wide receivers and tight ends aren't the only part of an offense, right? The offensive line for Tom Brady's always been good. So, to me, I don't understand that take of Belichick not supporting Brady with enough weapons. Now, last year, I agree, didn't have enough weapons. But it's not like this offseason the Patriots couldn't go out there and sign a lot of weapons. And maybe they wouldn't have Cowboy weapons, but do the Cowboys have the Patriots defense? I would say no. Do the Cowboys have the Patriots coaching and a familiar offensive coordinator like Josh McDaniels, who's a top 5 guy at his coaching position, an offensive coordinator? No. All right? No. If you want more weapons, and that's the reason why Tom Brady's going to leave, it's not going to take much to improve the Patriots' staple of weapons. It's not going to take much. Okay, you could go out there, you could improve wide receiver, you can improve tight end. You still have Julian Edelman, you still have James White, you have Sony Michel, you have N'Keal Harry with a full offseason. He was a first-round pick. He could get better. Jacoby Myers was a young player who showed some promise last offseason, who could get better throughout the offseason. Now you have 48 to 49 million. Let's say Brady takes up, I think he's going to take up 25 to 28 million of that, let's say. Because I think he's going to be promised that they're going to sign at least one weapon for him that's going to make a difference. So let's go out there and let's say, because I believe the reports that people are saying, that is that he wants help to win and not necessarily the money. And this will tell you what I mean, all right? Tom Brady says, I'm not wearing a blazer to the Super Bowl next year. He said this. So what this indicates is not just that Tom Brady wants to be paid. Maybe he does. But he wants to win the Super Bowl next year, clearly by this statement. So if you want to win the Super Bowl, you need players around you. And he understands that he will take the pay cut, as he always has, to get better players around him if he's promised that, which is the bigger deal to the story. So 48 to 49 million. Some of that's going to be taken up in re-signing some of your players. I am almost positive that players like Emmanuel Sanders, Randall Cobb, and even AJ Green will want to go to the Patriots and play with Tom Brady and also take a pay cut to do so. I am almost positive about that, especially Emmanuel Sanders, especially Randall Cobb. I don't quite know about AJ Green, but those guys would be an upgrade over what they have right now. And Randall Cobb was good in Dallas, trust me. Rashad Perryman is an interesting one. That would upgrade the speed department, upgrade the downfield threat that everybody wants for Tom Brady, which I don't think he necessarily needs, but I do think would actually help their receiving core. And I don't think he'll cost a ton of money. There's also guys like Anderson out there who would serve the same purpose. Danny Amendola, in a reunion with him, who had an okay season for Detroit in a depth role, which he would, again, come back to New England in a depth role with great chemistry with Tom Brady, and I think that would also, Tom Brady would love that move. If you could sign him to a very small contract for just one season, and that would instantly help Tom Brady. So there's moves like that, just small moves like that, that wouldn't cost you any money at all, basically, to help Tom Brady. You also have Mohamed Sanu on the roster that you trade a second-round pick for, and so far it hasn't worked out. It's rather going to work out, or you're going to cut him for $6 million. And if you cut him for $6 million, it's going to open up if you cut Sanu. That's going to allow you to sign a receiver worth $6 million. There's plenty of receivers you can sign for that amount of money, including a guy like Randall Cobb, let's say. Or maybe even Emmanuel Sanders. So Mohamed Sanu, he's rather going to be there and be better, or he's going to be cut and gone. The wide receiver position in the draft is the best it's potentially ever been. The people are talking about this receiver class being the best ever. At tight end, there's plenty of names in free agency. Greg Olsen, Eric Ebron, Tyler Eifert, who Belichick has praised constantly, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper. I expect the Patriots to sign at least one of those guys. And they could potentially draft a guy like Randy Moss's son out of LSU. So, there's a lot of different things that they could do in this offseason to upgrade the weapons department for Tom Brady. And that doesn't even include trades. Like, what if they went out there and made a crazy trade for Odell or somebody like that? It's always a factor, especially with the Patriots. So to end this off, I will say this. Josh McDaniels is still there. Julian Edelman is still there. The Patriots had the best defense in the NFL last year by the numbers. They have a first-round pick and the highest first-round pick they've had that they haven't needed to acquire or trade up for since 2008. So that means they're actually in a spot where they can pick someone pretty good that will contribute right away. He's getting his center back in David Andrews. Tom Brady, if I had to guess, is not leaving. That's my educated opinion. That is due to the research and due to being a fan for a long time of this team. I will be making a part 2 to this video discussing what I think the Patriots need to do this offseason to get back to where they were a couple years ago in the Super Bowl department. They had their worst season they've had in a long time. How do they get back to the promised land, so to speak? I'll be making that video, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, guys, and you're new, subscribe to the channel for more NFL vids just like this. Gronk spike the like button. Show your support for this vid if you enjoyed. And, of course, comment your opinion below. What did you think of this rant and the breakdown of where Tom Brady will be in 2020? Where do you expect him to be in 2020? It's been Mitch, and as Tom Brady said in his commercial,
I'm not going anywhere.
Thanks for watching. Peace out.